Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
What are you cooking with there, Anthony?
Just a little high noon to wake me up.
A little high noon. What is that mean?
No, it's a vodka drink.
My guy.
I took a nap. You got to wake up and get a little bit
absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. I'm absolutely exhausted. And I'll say absolutely again. That'll be the last absolute. Welcome to the show, everybody. As you know, by the time you're watching this, it is Tuesday evening. We were supposed to do the show on Sunday evening because I'm in Atlanta. We couldn't do Sunday because, well, I was tired. We couldn't do Monday because Anthony Smith, you were pulled from the ESPN UFC 302 post show for your scandalous behavior.
I was pulled out. No, I was
like a nasty tooth.
Yeah, I was eating. I think we talked about this a little bit. I had that like jaw surgery, and they had to do the implant in my jaw and rebuild my jaw and do all that stuff. Well, I got the temporary permanent implant where I don't have to have that stupid retainer that was giving me the bad lisp there for a long time. I got the temporary like implant like put into my jaw, and there I am in Bristol. It's my first show with my new teeth in, and I'm eating a goddamn piece of pizza in the hotel at like 9:30 p.m. My call time is at 10:30 p.m. I got to be at campus in an hour. Well, I'm gonna smash this pizza, get my suit on, get all looking good, take a bite of the pizza, and I'm like chewing it, and I feel something weird in my mouth, and I like grab it, and the whole implant came out of my jaw. so then I was like, I can't go on TV on the post show. I get enough shit, Mike. Can you imagine how bad it'd be with one tooth missing?
So hold on.
This morning,
the implant came out. So you still had? Did you have like a metal thing?
I had the metal post. Yeah, it was still in my mouth.
You should have done it, man. That would have been hilarious.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, for a second.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. For a second, because people are mean. Like now, I have the prosthetic eye, but before I had that, and it looked like shit. People would just talk mad shit all the time about my eye. And I was never bothered from a vanity perspective. I was never like, oh, these people being mean and it affects my confidence and stuff like that. I still wanted to fight. So I didn't want it to become a big, big thing. Right. Granted, there was certain times when you're working on camera and stuff like that and you're looking all, it's not a good look unless they're trying to book a Cyclops. You know what I'm saying?
And I honestly, it never bothered me like what it looked like having the tooth missing, but it's like the looks you get from people sometimes. And also, and I'm sure there's a part of this with your eye, all the injuries and things that bother me, the scars on my face and the tooth situation, this is still like blowback from the Glover fight. Like that was years ago. Like we're still worrying it. Like I'm still dealing with it. Like, when we say we give our blood, sweat, and tears to this shit, like we're leaving a part of us. And like maybe to some people, like, oh, it's just a tooth. Well, like I had to have my whole goddamn jaw rebuilt and that tooth removed again after they already fixed it to now put it back. Like we're still dealing with this stuff. You deal with it. You know better than almost anybody that I know in terms of the things you've lost. And when it comes to this game, your knees, your back, your neck, your eyeball, like we lose a lot of shit for this, and then people make fun of us for it. It's kind of messed up, but
you said
it is what it is.
I mean, I've got to have another metal plate and a disc replacement. I just found that because I'm always doing this for my neck. It's killing. So I got to go under the knife again, but still, we're not here to talk about that. A great night of fights, though. Well, a fantastic main event, UFC 302 at the weekend. Question, and this is to the panel, where do we start the show? Do we start with UFC 302 or do we start with what was breaking news on Sunday? I'm led in bed. I'm in Atlanta right now. I'm going to be here for 11 days. I go straight to Vegas. I go straight to Saudi Arabia. And then I go back to Vegas for International Fight Week. Hopefully still going back to Vegas. So I'm going to be on the road for a while. Sunday night, we're binge watching, finishing off Boardwalk Empire. We wanted to finish it. Have you seen Boardwalk Empire?
No, I haven't.
Bro. Watch Boardwalk Empire. It's a brilliant show. HBO or Max, as it's called these days. Anyway, I'm watching that, and it's whatever. Sometimes you glance at your phone. I got a text, and I look down. I'm like, oh, McGregor the press conference in Dublin cancelled. I was like, oh shit, what is going on? So did we start with 3 or 2, or should we talk about that?
Well, I think you already laid it out. You started. Yeah.
Do you know anything?
Nothing. I don't know anything. No.
I was led in bed.
Which bothers me. Because I feel like there's not too often, Mike, where like some breaking news happens and one of us hasn't like heard a rumbling of it. Or like, hey, this is what I heard. Like just between the two of us. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, no, because let's be honest, sometimes before we start recording, we'll be like, yeah, so we heard this and we heard that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm in the dark. I even messaged a couple of contacts at Paradigm and they were like, Mike, we can't tell you anything because if it was your situation, we would honor that. And I'm like, yeah, no, look, listen, I totally get it. I've had two vodkas watching Boardwalk Empire and my curiosity got the better of me. What we do know is that the press conference has been cancelled. Which, you know, when you think about it, what are the possibilities? And again, we don't know. First possibility is, you know, my wife was like, oh, maybe do you think he was like hammered or something? I'm like, babe, that was Sunday night, right?
Yeah.
The press conference wasn't until the afternoon in Ireland. If he was hammered, you know, because of the videos recently in the night when enjoying himself, which, by the way, we're getting shit for defending that. Did you see that?
No. Listen, bro, the best thing I ever did was get off of Twitter. Like, I don't see any of it. I don't see any
Google.
of it.
You just got to Google or just look at MMA.
Are you Googling yourself?
I'm not Googling myself, but when I do my MMA videos for my YouTube channel, I type in MMA and I click news. And it comes up with all the stuff to see what's popping. And it says, Bisping and Anthony Smith defend Conor. And I was like, well, listen, he's clearly not hammered. Because even if he was hammered, they'd say, bro, that makes for a better press conference. You need to get to bed. No, but that was Sunday night.
Yeah, go to sleep.
Go get some sleep. You've got a big day tomorrow, you know? And by the way, I've been at press conferences hammered.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. They make for a good one.
Are you intoxicated?
Are you intoxicated? Yeah, no, for that one, I was still, I'd been to sleep, but I was still feeling the effects. And when I got there, and I've said this before, so I'll keep it quick, they were like, Dana said, if you're drunk, you are not to go out on stage. I'm like, guys, I'm hungover. I'm not drunk. I'm just hungover. And anyway, I went out, I walk out, and I'm trying to like make up for it by being overly flamboyant and obnoxious and annoying. And when it was done, because I thought, shit, Dana's going to, you know, it's a big press conference with GSP and all the rest of it. And I didn't even show up on time. At the end of it, Dana's like, you're a prick. But that was awesome. So it's not that he's hammered or was drunk. I don't know what it could be. I don't think Michael Chandler's injured. Harrington, do you have, I know you've been scouring the internet. What are the theories doing the rounds?
So the big theory that's got people concerned that the fight is going to go on is that UFC apparently has pulled all TV advertisements for McGregor versus Chandler. They also, I think over the weekend, put up videos of McGregor versus Diaz 2 and McGregor versus Alvarez as their free fights to get people hyped up for 303. Those have both been made private. And apparently you can no longer pre-order the pay-per-view with McGregor versus Chandler from the ESPN Plus website. So there's a lot of factors making people question whether or not this is going to happen at the end of the month.
Right. Well, I mean, in that case, it sounds like an injury of some sort. One would have thought. If just thinking logically, and now granted, that's if it is McGregor that's injured, then he's going to get some shit because how many times does he call people a pullout merchant?
Right. He does. He gives a lot of shit. I don't know. It sounds like Chandler's okay. Because I had a couple people that said, "Oh no, Mike Chandler's good. He's healthy." Yeah.
Well, Chandler's out there probably still putting inspirational quotes on Instagram.
He's probably doing a TED talk somewhere.
Doing a TED talk, doing kettlebell swings whilst doing it, you know what I mean? Inspiring the next generation and just sweating his balls off and getting his body fat percentage down to 0.2%. If he is injured, the reality is these things happen.
It's part of the game.
It is a part of the game. So look, listen,
but you're right. You do open yourself up for criticism. He's going to, if it's him, we're just hypotheticals here, but if it is him and he's banged up and has to pull out and they have to push the fight back again, he is going to catch some wicked shit.
I don't know. I mean, listen, for all the negativity.
Listen, I'm the guy that made fun of people for missing weight and then missed weight. Sometimes you got to eat that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it's coming.
Yeah. Oh, you've only got two things you can control, Anthony. In shape and on weight. Rocks up to UFC. What was it? 299, 298?
No, it was like 292.
No. Well, whatever. I was almost there. Well, get well soon. If it is McGregor, listen, for all the negativity, what I was going to say, there's still a tremendous amount of people that support him. I feel for all the people that had traveled to that press conference. I had a couple of mates from Adam and Nick. They were in Ireland to do interviews and stuff, and the interviews got cancelled and stuff. So if it is an injury, it must have happened last second, because I'm sure Dana doesn't jump on a plane over to Ireland for the sake of it. Even if he did, I know that was the plan, he said at the press conference. So, yeah, it's a shame, though, because I was really, really looking forward to that. I mean, we're speaking like the fight's not going ahead. If what Harrington says is correct, it sounds like it's not.
Poor Charlie is over there and was over there, too.
Is he really?
He was, yeah.
Oh, God.
He waited all the way there.
ESPN, the stage manager, top guy. Anyway, we shall see.
We'll see.
We shall see. We're talking about if, buts, and maybes there, but we have some definites in the bag regarding UFC 302 at the weekend. Start with that main event. Islam Makhachev, Dustin Poirier. Dustin's an incredible man. He's an incredible man. He's an inspiration. He's just unbelievable. He's got such a great attitude. I thought the sportsmanship between the two of them, got a little testy at the press conference when he called him a and Islam was like, don't say this. I think maybe in Russian it might mean something else.
It was very literal. Yeah.
Literal version is like, no, bro.
No.
But the fight was fantastic. Islam Makhachev at the start just looked. I thought, oh, my God, look at how he landed those shots, took him down with authority. I thought, this is going to be quick. It's going to be quick. He's going to make it look easy. It's going to be unreal. But Dustin's a warrior. He's very skilled. He's got experience. He's been in there with people like Khabib, so he knows that kind of pressure. Turned it around, was able to stop quite a lot of takedowns, even though Islam was still able to take him down every round. But then Islam showed that, hold on a minute, I'm not a one-trick pony. I'll beat you on the feet. And he was essentially doing that, even though Dustin made it really, really interesting. And then, of course, a tremendous fight punctuated with that ridiculous finish. The ankle pick to the way he sweeps the leg around, straight into the goddamn doors. Unreal.
Yeah, the whole fight was unreal. Like, I was with you, though. I thought during, like at the beginning, I was like, oh, shit. Well, this is going to be quick. And Dustin kind of, like I was in because I'm stuck in the hotel room. So I was in the hotel room, just clinched the whole time. I'm like defending my own neck as it's happening. Excuse me.
Trying to put your tooth back in.
I've got up mouth. And, but it was kind of inspirational to see Dustin kind of walk back to the stool, gather himself, start to defend some takedowns after that. This is going to come off funny, but Islam made Dustin fight at a very small percentage of his capability, because that's not how Dustin Poirier fights on his feet. That's not his striking style. That's not usually his approach. He wasn't comboing up. He wasn't able to really dig in and set his feet and throw the way he wanted to. Islam did such a good job of using that takedown as a threat. There were even in the corner one time, I think it was Thiago Alves said, Dustin, let's get some combos going. Let's go 2, 3, or 4 at a time. And Dustin turned to him and said, I don't want to be in front of him too long. Like it changed the whole approach to the fight, which is so fascinating that Dustin was still able to keep it close, because he was kind of a shell of himself in terms of what he was able to do versus what his skill set actually shows that he has. So I thought that was really interesting, where that's not the way Dustin fights. He doesn't really fight in one punch shots. They're usually combinations. He fades off. He didn't throw one really nasty right hook like he typically does. He didn't, it wasn't there for him the whole time. I thought the takedown defense was also inspirational, that at that point in his career, he's always kind of struggled with high level wrestlers. It's always kind of just been there. stopped a lot of the takedowns in space. He adjusted really well in between rounds where he was on the fence early. And
Keep
then,
talking. I'm just going to turn the AC down.
Yeah, you're good. Where he was on the fence a lot really early in the fight, and that's where he was getting taken down. And then as the fight goes on, his coaches and trainers are telling him, you got to stay in space. He can't take you down in the center. And Dustin makes that adjustment. So like, even at, he keeps talking, I'm 35 years old. What am I fighting for? Like, you just leveled up and showed skills that we hadn't seen before, like against someone who's really, really good. And I think that these guys like Arman Sarukian and Gamrot and probably even Gaethje, maybe even Max Holloway probably owe a large debt to Dustin Poirier, because now someone other than Volkanovski, someone with a more realistic skill set, was able to push Islam and maybe, I don't know, make him look a little more human. And it made me like Islam more.
Well,
he seemed like a human being.
Because, listen, Islam has been incredible, and he's, for the most part, dominated everybody. Yeah, he's got the one loss. He got caught. It is what it is, right? 26-1, an unbelievable record, and it's been pure domination.
Mm-hmm.
Domination, when you're that good, it becomes, this sounds weird, it's almost easy for him because he's that talented. Right. But we've never seen, can he dig deep? Has he got the ability to be the hammer and be the nail, to take a kick in and keep on ticking, to go back to the corner at the end of the round thinking, hold on a minute, this isn't going to plan? Because it's those kind of fights, and you know what I'm talking about, when you go out there and you go back to your corner and you're like, this is not as easy as what I thought it was going to be. This guy's stopping my takedowns. He's landing shots. I've got a massive cut on my forehead. I'm pissing blood everywhere. It's like, hold on a minute. This is not how we thought this was going to be. And it's when you have those kind of fights and that kind of adversity, are you still mentally strong enough to go out there in the next round and have a reset and still fight your ass off? And I think it was even more impressive from Islam because that's what we saw, because we know the answer, and I assume the answer would be yes, but we just hadn't seen it. But now we know. Well, the man's a dog.
If you look at the Volkanovski fight, the first one, although I think people would probably classify that as a dog fight, I wouldn't. I never have. It was an incredible fight, really, really high level mixed martial arts happening in there. And I couldn't give enough credit to those two guys in there, but that was a competition. Those guys were competing at the highest level, tit for tat, back and forth, a lot of grappling exchanges, a lot of wrestling on the fence. Like it's hard to fight like that. I don't want to take anything away from them. That's a really hard fight, really exciting. I had a lot of fun, especially as an analyst, like really breaking down the small parts of it.
And I'm glad you brought that up as well, because it's almost like I was dismissive of Volk there. You're right. Volk did give him a test, but to your point, it was more of a competition. There was a lot of grappling, but Volk did drop him once or twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, towards the end. Yeah, I think in the end of the fifth round, he did get dropped and had to get in on takedown and kind of hold on for dear life for a little bit. But like Saturday night, Islam was in a fight. Yeah. And I don't know that that's been the case up to this point.
And that's why, in my opinion, his stock goes up, even though, people might say, well, Dustin just lost to Justin Gaethje. He lost to Khabib. He's been beaten before. If you look at that and that's how you value Dustin Poirier's career, you're looking at it all wrong. Do you know, Dustin Poirier is as good as they come. He's been in there with the best. This was a big moment. His third and final time at becoming the undisputed champion. That was the best version of Dustin Poirier I think we'll ever see. And he still couldn't beat him. And it's because Islam Makhachev is so great. So well done to him. Unbelievable. I love the show of class afterwards. Khabib got in there and they had some nice words back and forth as well. Just it's great, man, because we love rivalries and we love a bit of shit talk, and I see people often say, I don't like it when you see people talk shit when the fight's done. What's all this hugging bullshit? It's like, well, you got to understand them. But granted, they didn't have some big war of words leading into it. But I'm saying just in general, fighters, when they're talking shit and they're trying to sell the fight, when it's done and when you've spent 25 minutes or you've gone to war with each other, for the most part, it's impossible not to have respect for your opponent.
Yeah, so I get frustrated when people complain about that too. And here's always especially if people ask me in person, well, you and Ryan Spann hated each other and then you guys hugged it out afterwards, because it's done.
Yeah.
Like we didn't get along. And even if we're not just promoting the fight and you're in a situation where you genuinely don't like someone, in regular day life, for people to just walk around just as normal humans, you get in these arguments with people and you don't like this person, and like, you can't do anything about it. You just bitch and moan and complain.
That's a good point.
We go to the second leg of that. We say what we got to say, but we still have to walk in there. Like, that's why I don't get too mad about trash talk, as long as it doesn't cross over to people that can't do anything about it. Like, don't talk about people's families, their kids, their wives, like all that stuff, because those people can't do anything about it. But if they can say whatever they want about me, and I'll say whatever I want about them, because I'm still going to make that walk. He has every opportunity to do something about it. So once we fight, and it doesn't really matter who wins and who loses, especially if it's a good fight. It's everything that you wanted to do, you had the chance to do, and now it's over with. You wash your hands of it and you move on.
That's a great point, and I just want to elaborate further on that, because you're right. Most people in day-to-day life, if there's somebody that's getting on your tits, they're driving you crazy, it's a work colleague or whatever, for the most part, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, you hate them forever.
Go on the car park and get into it. You know, as much as you'd want to, you can't do it. And when you go out there and you fight and you scrap whatever, and you see it in the playground, you see it in other situations, they have a little scrap, whatever, and then an adult comes over and says, shake hands, and they do shake hands, and then they forget about it because they've tested one another, they've felt each other, they've said, hey, I'm no bitch. Don't mess with me. If you keep doing this shit, this is what's going to happen. It's like with bullies. If you're getting bullied at school or wherever, if you stand up to that bully, you know, they'll stop bullying you, because the reality is they're looking for an easy situation. If you're willing to make that person roll around on the floor and have a few fisticuffs, they're like, don't bother with him, because this crazy little bastard will go for it. I don't want that. I want to look cool in front of the chick that I fancy, that I've got the hots for. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to actually get into a fight. It's like dogs, you know. Don't take this the wrong way, Americans. The Americans, certainly in Orange County, right? They're so weird about dogs on leashes, right? The dog has to be on a leash. Well, when I'm out near my trails, my dog's off the lead. We call it a lead. It's off the lead. Go and have a sniff, have a little run around, cock your leg, do all this shit. And then sometimes perhaps it might encounter another dog. And for the most part, nothing ever happens, you know, because my dog's a tiny little fluff ball. Nothing's going to happen anyway. But they get all weird. It's like, get your dog on a leash. It's like, let them interact. Like the ladies on our neighborhood, when I'm walking around, we'll walk the block, they cross the street and they pick their dogs up. I was like, no wonder. And then the dog
off Little Harry?
Yeah, because they're weird. And it's like, no wonder your dog's a social anxiety freak case, right? Because look at how you act. And then there's other people, like there's this next door neighbor where I used to live in England, in Clitheroe. The next door neighbor, we had this crazy dog, Sam, and he was a psycho. Right, and he would attack everything. And the woman next door had a cat, right? And Sam ran in the house. The back door was open. Sam ran right in the house and upstairs to get the cat. And I won't say it. Well, Margaret didn't give a shit. I'm like, Margaret. I said, Sam's upstairs. He's trying to get your cat, and she just didn't care. She's like, yeah, it's all right. He'll get a scratch on the nose. It's okay.
That's a great concept, though.
And I'm like, I don't know if he will just get a scratch on the nose. I think your cat might get eaten. But like a lot of people do, like in England, if two dogs have a little, to go back to the point that we're saying, they'll go, oh, they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. They'll have a little test and then they'll go their separate ways.
Yeah. I do the same shit with my kids. Like when they start getting at each other, like the little one, the 6-year-old, she's a nasty little, she's a mean little, but she's sick of her two older sisters with her all the time. So I'll tell them all the time, like, listen, you guys messing with her all the time. Now she's coming back at you and you think it's funny. If I was you, I'd bust her ass real quick, because she's going to be big enough here soon. You're not going to be able to do anything about it. So I let them, they do their thing and they'll figure it out. Like, it's kind of like dogs. You got to let them figure out who's boss. And now, for the most part, everything's got its pecking order now. Where like my oldest one will be like, get her to a point and they'll stop with her because they know she's about to bust their ass. Yeah. So I'm sure my neighbors love to hear that.
Yeah. And I'm sure my old neighbors
got kid fight club going on in here.
Kid fight club going on. Call Child Protective Services. No, I used to do that with my younger brother and sister when I was babysitting. I'd say, watch them fight. Watch them fight. My younger sister, Shireen, sometimes would beat the shit out of Adam. Sorry, Adam. She's tough, man. She's tough. All right, this episode is sponsored by Shopify. And let me tell you, when I first started podcasting, having an online store or selling things online was the furthest thing from my mind. But now, me, you, anybody, they can get online, they can have an e-commerce site, a store, you can be an entrepreneur, you can sell your products, your goods, your services, all online, very easily, very cost effectively, and with no complications. And that is all made so easy for you by Shopify, okay? Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US, and Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries all around the world. Plus, Shopify's extensive help resources are there to support your success every single step of the way. So if you've got an idea, there is no better time to put it into motion than now. It's going to be so easy with Shopify. There's a bunch of courses if you want to learn more about it. They have 24/7 help available. You don't have to learn any new skills in design or code. You just sign up for a $1 per month trial period when you go to shopify.com/believe. Shopify.com/believe to grow your business no matter what stage you are in. And as I said, $1 per month trial period. If you've got an idea, if you've already got an ongoing concern, take it to the next level today. Do it with Shopify for $1 per month when you go to shopify.com/believe. Right, let's get back to the fights. So, question. Dustin said, probably done. More than likely done. What's next for Dustin and what's next for Islam Makhachev, in your opinion?
I think we're going to see Dustin fight one more time.
So do I.
I think we're going to see him at least one more time because I feel like, we think we talked about this a little bit with my own retirement. I don't want to retire off of not only just, of course, nobody wants to retire off a loss. I'm less concerned with that whenever that time does come because I've thought about it a little bit, what it would look like. I want everyone to know, at least everyone at home. Like, I want everyone in my family to know. I want all my friends to know. I want the people that I care about the most to know so we can make a big deal of it and kind of enjoy that last ride together and just do it one more time. And I feel like Dustin's kind of like would be the same way. Plus, he can have a couple really fun fights and make a shit ton of money and really have no pressure and just have some fun and say, okay, right, we're done with title fights probably.
We're done with title fights.
Yeah, we're done with. I hate to say.
I'm sorry. No.
Okay, we're done with title fights.
He's had 3, bro.
So let's have some fun. Find a fun. You know what? Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier, BMF. I'm down. I like it.
Rubber match, Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, or a rubber match with Justin Gaethje.
You know,
that probably makes a little more sense.
And do it at 170.
Yeah, why cut to 55? There's no point.
Yeah, they're both roughly the same size. Do it at 170. It's not really relevant in the division. I mean, of course it is, but I'm saying they're just settling a grudge. Mm-hmm. There's a 4th fight with McGregor, but he said he doesn't want that negative energy. That probably isn't going to happen. I don't think anyone's fighting McGregor anytime soon. We don't know. Remains to be seen. Don't quote me on that, people. But Islam. And we're going to get to who's the best, who's the pound for pound, but not yet. We're going to get to that because I've been getting a ton of shit online.
I want to see Arman Tsarukyan. Watching him fight Dustin Poirier made me want to watch the Tsarukyan fight more. Before, I wasn't that sold on it. Just because I just, not that I wasn't sold. I didn't have, I think it'd be a great fight no matter what, but I didn't have I wasn't lusting to see that fight. But then watching the Dustin Poirier Islam fight, I was like, oh, I'd love to see Tsarukyan in there because I think those grappling exchanges look a little different with Tsarukyan.
Yep. Without question. I mean, Islam is now, he's one of the biggest stars in the sport. you know, worldwide as well. You know, obviously he's got the whole Muslim community behind him. He's Russian, Dagestani, so he's got that whole part of the world as well. In the United States of America, he's a big star. So he's a big deal now, man. I'm sure he gets paid very, very well. And Arman Tsarukyan, without question, is on paper the next person. But I just wonder, and this is not me shitting on Arman's potential title fight, because I think he's right there. He just beat Charles Oliveira, right? But I don't know, like, is that the fight what they do for Islam next? Or do they do something big? Do they do something special? Do they give him a Leon Edwards if he gets through Bilal Muhammad? Something like that, you know?
What happens if Bilal beats Leon? It's kind of a mess, right?
Then no one's going to forget the name. Everything's going to go out the window.
Well, yeah, but doesn't Bilal train with Islam and Habib a bunch?
Oh, yeah. Well, that does stop that.
Yeah.
You know?
Probably.
But is that going to happen? You never know. You never know.
Don't you forget that goddamn name.
I won't. Yes, Harrington. What the bloody hell do you want? Showing up unannounced.
Well, what are you doing?
Sorry to interrupt you guys. So Bilal did actually, he commented on it. He said that Islam, actually, they're so close that he would forego a shot at the 170 title and would go all the way up to 185 if Bilal was holding the title.
Islam would go to 185.
Yes.
Islam, Hamzat, if he beats Whitaker and then fights, then they're not going to. He'd be like, I'm going to 205.
Makhachev.
That's my next fight. My next fight is Islam.
Yeah. Just go for Tom Aspinall. Right. Look, listen.
No,
so
Islam, Alex Pereira.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what? I'd give Islam a shot against Alex Pereira.
I know.
Jesus Christ, could you imagine? Don't say it, Anthony, because that'll be the report. Anthony Smith disrespects Alex Pereira and says that the lightweight champion could dethrone him.
No, I didn't say that. Michael Bisping said that, though.
I did say it. But what do you think if you had to put odds on that fight? If Islam Makhachev, right, they said, listen, never mind the title. Your life depends on this. This is a big situation. You've got 2 months. You can beef up as much as you want. You've got to beat Alex Pereira to save your family's life. I don't want to put that evil out there. Yeah. It might happen.
It's a pick'em.
It's a pick'em.
It's a pick'em. Yeah, those are even odds.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, I tell you what, I kind of want to see that.
So do I.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that. I just was like, well, then what if Hamzat beats Whitaker and then Hamzat ends up winning the title? Then he can't go to 185. He'd have to go to 205.
We're going to go round and round and round. Right, listen, I want to ask you this. Okay. So I did the TNT Sports Show, and we talked about who was the greatest, who was the pound-for-pound best right now. Adam and Nick, shout out to those guys, they had emphatically Islam Makhachev being the number one pound-for-pound guy, right? Being the pound-for-pound greatest. Not the GOAT, because they are two different things.
Right.
The pound-for-pound number one active fighter right now. I disagreed. I said I thought it was John Jones, because John Jones did have a break, but he fought last year in 23. He's got a fight coming up. He got injured. It's not his fault. Injuries do happen. And he has got a fight scheduled. And I went through all the reasons. I went through the competition. I went through him becoming champion of 2 weight classes and all the rest of it. And weirdly enough, this has been interpreted as me basically shitting on Islam. I mean, we're saying which one is the best, and I delivered it very, very politely. But you would think that I've just shat in their cornflakes, do you know what I mean? And just gone round to Islam's house and graffitied it or something. Do you know what I mean? And they were bringing up all kinds of shit. It's just on my Twitter timeline. And I was laughing. I was going to respond last night. I thought, no, we'll just have a conversation. So Anthony Smith, Lionheart, a man that has shared the octagon with Mr. Jonathan Jones. Who, in your opinion, is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the UFC right now?
John Jones.
Jones?
Without a question.
What are you talking about?
I think Dana said it better than anybody.
Oh, that was it? Sorry to interrupt. I'm a company man. I'm just echoing whatever Dana says, and I want Joe Rogan's job.
Oh, yeah, right. Don't we all? I want his paycheck. I'll take his paycheck.
Yeah, I'm right.
No, because I've said this. We actually said something very similar to this like 2 years ago, you and I. If you put John Jones in a room with any fighter on the roster for the most part right now, and like they fight to the death, John Jones is probably going to leave that room. Most likely. Yeah. Unless it's Tom Aspinall.
To be fair, pound for pound doesn't necessarily mean that. It means if you take into all the
but still
skill for skill, success.
I think he's the most skilled, most effective fighter in the game. It looks different. It looks different than the rest of the guys, and I didn't understand it either until I was in there with him, because it doesn't make any sense when you're watching him. It doesn't make any sense how it's so effective. But then once you're in there, it makes all the sense in the world. And then you're like, oh, well, this sucks. I wasn't ready for that.
Of Adam and Nick was that but he hasn't been active. And I said, well, he took some time away from the sport.
He beat 3 generations of fighters.
He beat 3 generations of fighters, and they were like, well, that was a long time ago. I'm like, granted, but he's still active. And they were like, no, he's not. And I said, well, he is. He took some time away, granted, because there was contractual negotiations, politics, stuff going on behind the scenes. Now he's got a tremendous deal. He came back. He beat Cyril Gane. And people say, well, he was a tailor-made matchup. He was also the interim heavyweight champion at the time, I think. He was the number 1 guy. It's not his fault that he was the top guy. He beat him. He was scheduled to fight Stipe, tore his pec, and injuries happen. Look at McGregor. You know what I mean? Injuries happen all the time. Right. And he's coming back.
If Khabib came back and won 1 fight, they would put Khabib above Islam.
Yeah.
And Khabib hasn't fought in years.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not fair. I hate defending John, but he's beaten so many generations of fighters. He's beaten every different style of fighter. He's beaten strikers, grapplers, jiu-jitsu guys, young guys, old guys, middle of the road guys, the very next contender, and did it mostly dominantly over everybody. There's a couple guys that got close.
And the thing is as well, and again, this is where it sounds disrespectful to Islam, and it's not. I don't even need to say it. I've got tremendous respect. I've never said anything disrespectful.
Right.
Other than I think right now, John Jones just pips him to the post. Yeah, I know the disrespect. I think when you look at the competition of Islam, and granted, there's been some great ones. Oliveira, he just beat Volkanovski, but he was a featherweight. He just beat Dustin Poirier, Bobby Green, Drew Dober, Thiago Moises.
Look at the longevity too.
Longevity. A few more fights, this will probably change.
If he defends 5 more times, we can have that conversation.
Of course.
That we can have that conversation, but it's hard. This is why me and RJ Clifford have this argument all the time over who's the greatest female fighter of all time. I always say Amanda Nunes, but the one thing that I have a hard time, and this isn't just the UFC, this is across all women's MMA. His argument has always been Chris Cyborg. The only part that I have a hard time defending is the longevity that Cyborg went without being beaten and beat the very best people in her way. So
does he also not recall that Amanda Nunes smoked her and knocked her out cold in about 50 seconds?
At the end of her career is his argument. But that's the one part of the argument I have a hard time defending. Amanda Nunes is a better fighter, beat the better people, has more titles, and did it at a higher level for longer. But across her entire career, Chris Cyborg was at the top for a very, very long time. And that's hard to argue.
Oh, no, for sure. For sure. Anyway, we're going around in the circles.
It's a fun conversation, though.
It's a fun conversation.
And you know what? I don't feel too bad for Islam. I'm sorry. You're the 2nd best pound for pound.
You're just under the best ever.
You're just under the greatest of all time.
To sleep. Oh, yeah. And also, I did say Tom Aspinall might beat John Jones. And people are like, how can he be the pound for pound if he thinks that Tom Aspinall beats him? I said, well, I think that. We don't know that. That has not been set in stone. John Aspinall. John Jones's record is set in stone. Anyway, regardless, we're going around in circles. Congratulations to Islam Makhachev. And congrats to Dustin Poirier. Should we get a little bit of Harrington nonsense for a second?
Yeah. Let's see what he's got for us.
Let's see what he's got. Harrington, come on. What have you got for us today?
I mean, it's not what I have. It's what the world has to offer you guys. I'm just picking the best stories I can find.
Okay. Well, out of all the stories that are there, what is the best story that you can find?
Probably this one. So a man in Michigan joined his Zoom court appearance for driving on a suspended license. But check it out. He did it while driving on said suspended license.
Anthony, have you seen this? I've seen this.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
We're going to play the video for those people that haven't. So he goes to court. He zooms into court for driving whilst on a suspended license. And the judge and his reaction are just absolute bloody gold.
Who should be present via Zoom.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
Hey.
I'm parking.
He doesn't even realize it.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter, up possibly 2 to 4 weeks if the court would allow.
So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended,
That is correct, Your Honor.
and he was just driving,
Look at his
and
face.
Look at him.
he didn't have a license.
It's at that moment you
No,
realize
I'm
you
looking at
fucked
his
up.
record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
He doesn't know what to say.
He's speechless.
I don't even know why he would do that. So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
Oh dear. Anyway, I mean, look at him. Look at him. He's like, for crying out loud. I'm just parking. I'm just parking up. It's like,
Parking.
bro, you should have been parked before you zoomed the judge. Jesus Christ. You can see the realization setting in his face. Have you ever done something like that, Anthony? Is there anything that springs to mind where it was just like so dumb and then it dawns on you like, oh God, I'm busted. I know I have. I can't think of anything right now, but there's
I know I have, but I can't think of
occasions.
anything off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I can't. I've actually gotten caught with a suspended license driving before, a couple times, and one time I didn't have a license, and it was like Christmas Eve, and it was me, Michaela, 2 of our kids, and Michaela's mom, and we were driving from Omaha, Nebraska to Lincoln, Nebraska, which is like about a 45-minute drive. But it's really like we're driving there to go to Michaela's grandma's for Christmas dinner. But the weather was really bad. It was crazy snow. It was really icy. The weather was really bad. So no one else wanted to drive. Not that I didn't normally drive, but no one else wanted to drive in the bad weather. So I drove us to Lincoln when I got pulled over when I got there because I was following too closely. Like I hit some ice and kind of slid. Instead of hitting the brakes, I just kind of coasted and I kind of got a little too close to the car in front of me. I got pulled over and I remember the cop being like, "You're in a car."
Not right now. I'm busy. Sorry, somebody banging on the door relentlessly.
But the cop was like, "You have 2 other licensed drivers in the car. Why are you driving?" Like, wow. well, you know.
Yeah, but it's one of those, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
I'll drive. I've got this.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was kind of silly.
Yeah. Well, that poor guy.
I do have a driver's license now, though, just to be clear.
You do. I drove for years in America. I shouldn't say this. With the license, of course, but I lost my British license.
Yeah.
You know, so I still had a license, but I just couldn't produce one. You know what I mean? And I was pulled over on numerous occasions. And I'm like, I've got insurance. I've got this, I've got that. And I wouldn't be able to have all of them if I didn't have a license. But I'd lost the little card. You know what I mean? But so every time I was like, oh, shit, here we go. And I was so lucky because the amount of times I was pulled over. Jesus Christ. Hello? There's no one there. Jesus Christ.
People are going to think you're worried about someone breaking into your house.
They're banging on the door. They're calling the phone. Hello? Hold on. Keep this rolling.
This is great.
Hello?
Hello.
If they call back.
Dude, someone's messing with you. I bet what if it's Harrington the whole time? He's just calling you. Oh, who is it?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
It's got to be really important.
Oh, it's okay. Everything's working fine now, but I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, I appreciate you. That's very kind. Bye-bye.
They're just
She
checking
set
on.
IT up to help with the internet. The internet sorted. Leave me alone. Stop bothering me. Bloody hell. You just took 5 years off my life. My wife says that all the time because I'm so jumpy, especially because I don't see out of this eye. If someone just pops up and goes, hey, I go, ah, and I'm always jumpy. She's like, why are you so jumpy? So I don't know. What were we talking about? White as a ghost.
Driving on suspension.
Oh, yeah. No, I would get pulled and I'd be like, oh, yeah, the amount of times. And I'm like, shit. I can't show my license. I have a license, but I can't produce one. And then the cops be like, what's your name? I'm a Michael Bisping. The Michael Bisping. And I'm like, yeah, baby, let's go. Yes.
I love when that happens when like you're trying to get into somewhere and you're like, oh, the wait here is really long. Like you're trying to take your family to dinner. And then like you get that look at the front. I'm like, yeah, there's 6 of us. What's your name? Anthony Smith. Big fan. Yes. Get a table. Get a table.
It does come in so handy sometimes without sounding like an absolute wanker.
I don't give a shit. It helps.
So handy.
That's the only time I care.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't go to clubs and stuff anymore, but if I ever did back in the day and there's like a big line or whatever, I'll be like, I'll just go and loiter by the entrance.
Right.
Like,
pretend you're on your phone.
Yeah, just pretend I'm on my phone because security guys, they watch UFC and you'll just be like, yeah, British is English. Yeah. And then they go, hey, Bisping, you want to come in? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Can my friends come?
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, we'll take a table. Thanks.
And if the security guys don't recognize you, you're almost guaranteed someone towards the front of the line is going to. And then they're going to start asking for pictures. You're laughing because you know this is true. Yeah. Someone in the front of the line is like, oh my God, Anthony, can I get a picture? Of course you can get a picture.
It's
Come over here.
Oh God. I mean, listen. Sometimes it can get annoying. Like, I'm always appreciative, but like sometimes it comes in so helpful.
That's the only time I care is when I'm trying to get in somewhere.
we're so pathetic.
I just feel like we just really pulled the curtain back.
Yeah, it's true though. It's true. Herringbone.
So I just wanted to give you guys an update on that Michigan guy. So turns out he was 100% in the right. His license had been suspended back in 2010. He paid all the fines to get it unsuspended in 2022. The Michigan County Clerk's Office never sent the paperwork through. So his original driving on a suspended license charge was BS in the first place. And those 3 days he had to spend in jail shouldn't have happened.
Oh, I'm suing.
Yeah, right?
I'm suing. Lost wages.
You should sue. I mean, if you went to prison for 3 days for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, I'd be so. And you look like a fool all over the internet now.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're the ones that look like the fool because Harrington didn't give us the info beforehand. Yeah, but you go to prison, you get like people go to prison for like 20 years wrongfully. And when they come out, I don't hear about them getting these massive settlements.
Yeah, some states don't have the ability to sue them for shit like that. Some people do. There's a couple stories where guys have gone to prison wrongfully and then gotten out, but they get like, I don't know, $5 million. I wouldn't trade 20 years for $5 million.
Yeah, but $5 million, it's not bad because I've heard some people getting like,
yeah, I mean, it's better than nothing. Yeah, it's better than nothing.
It depends. I mean, 20 years of Harrington's life.
Trade that for $5 million.
I guarantee if Harrington was given the proposition of, listen, Aura, the whole family, they're going to be without you. You're going to go to prison. You're going to get 3 square meals a day. And when you come out 5 years later, you'll do 2.5 for good behavior. You'll get $5 million. Harrington, what are you saying?
In a heartbeat, yes. Dude, 2.5 years? Yeah, dude, good behavior all day. I'll be fine.
Yeah, it flies by. It's 8 years today since I won the belt. I mean, 8 years. And that went by just like that.
To the day.
It's all over the internet. You know?
Oh, okay.
It's not like because this morning, again, Nick from TNT was like, happy anniversary. And I just woke up and I was like, kind of panicked. I'm like, shit, it's my anniversary. I haven't sent Beck flowers or anything. And then I'm like, how does he know it's my anniversary? And then I'm like, oh, he means since I won the belt. This episode is sponsored by 8 Sleep, which is one of my favorite products that we've had on here. I stand by 8 Sleep. The 8 Sleep mattress pod cover is the high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues. And 8 Sleep's pod, it just goes right on like a mattress cover. It will cool down or warm up your side of the bed. It will allow you to track all of your sleep measurements. What is that, you're thinking? Well, you have an app right there. It tells you when you fell asleep. It tells you your average heart rate. It tells you when you were in deep sleep, when you were in REM sleep. It tells you your quality of sleep. And on top of that, you're just going to sleep like a baby. And it feels great. And it stops arguments and with the air conditioning and stuff. One side of the bed can go as low as 55. The other side of the bed can go as high as 110 degrees. Super easy to use. Put the mattress cover on, plug it in, and off you pop. Just download the app. Sleep science shows that in order to get the best sleep, the body temperature needs to drop in the early or the middle part of the sleep and then slowly rise in the morning. And that's exactly what this does. As I said, in addition to keeping you at the perfect temperature all night, the pod also tracks your sleep, your health metrics, and on average, the pod users see their sleep quality improve by 32% after just 1 month on the pod. So 8 Sleep is going to bring to you better sleep, which is going to bring a better version of you. You're not going to be as stressed. You're not going to be as tired. You're going to be more productive. And you're just going to enjoy it. Rebecca is obsessed. I'm kind of obsessed with it as well. It's a fantastic investment. And right now, there's no better way to improve your day-to-day life with better sleep. And the easiest way to do that is with the 8 Sleep Pod 3. Start your day correct with a fantastic night's sleep. Go to 8sleep.com/Bisping to get $200 off and free shipping. 8sleep.com/Bisping to get $200 off and free shipping. Anyway, speaking of belts, winning belts, losing belts, potentially fighting for another belt. Co-main event, UFC 302. Let's get this back on track. Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa. Sean did his thing, controlled the entirety of the fight. In fact, Anthony, I'll let you lead the dance, which is what Sean did.
Yeah. I mean, you're 100% right. He led the dance. Paulo Costa is just not the same as he used to be. He's not as willing to engage in the firefights anymore. He's not hyper aggressive like he used to be. And as much as it's going to sound like I'm kind of shitting on Paulo Costa, I thought he fought well. He just fought on the back foot the whole time. He never came forward. You can't beat Sean Strickland backing up. I think if you can't look at the Israel Adesanya Sean Strickland fight and take from that you cannot back up when you're fighting Sean Strickland, I don't know what you're doing. Like, if that's not a clear representation of how you don't fight Sean Strickland, I don't know what is. So I thought that he did a good job early attacking the legs. He minimized the damage for the most part early in the fight. He didn't take a lot of big shots, but he was just on his bike the whole time. He went to the leg a lot, but he didn't really land anything. Strickland, to be fair, Strickland tried. He was walking him down, but Strickland's not the overly hyper aggressive kind of guy. He's more of a counter guy, but he's always going to walk you down, force you to strike, make you miss, and counter. He did a lot of damage to the body with that teep kick and kind of kept Paulo's timing off, so Paulo could never really set his feet and go. It was a frustrating fight for me to watch because I know how good it could have been. If Paulo had come forward and been aggressive and really thrown hard and tried to win. It seemed like he was kind of picking from the outside, and it just wasn't going to work.
It was a frustrating fight for everybody to watch.
Yeah.
I was kind of frustrated at home. Paulo Costa, I'm a fan of him. I love what he brings to the table. He has been inconsistent. Sean Strickland brings a lot of excitement with him as well, and of course the whole story and the narrative and all the rest of it. So I was hyped for that fight. The crowd was booing. I thought it was very honest of Sean straight away to say it was a boring fight because it kind of was.
It takes two. It takes two.
It does. It
Like,
takes two. And I don't
I think Sean gets a pass.
I don't understand Paolo backing up the whole time because not shitting on Sean. It's not like he's like this massive one-shot knockout artist. You know what I'm saying? He's a very good striker. I'm not saying he's not, but he's not known for like Alex Pereira type power. Whoa, you got to be careful. And then also backing up the whole time. Your body, you're in a sense of a heightened sense of stress the whole time because just walking forward, plodding forward, you're fine. You can do that all day long. And I know the commentators were talking about it. But just to elaborate, if you're Paulo Costa and you're going on the back foot and you're dancing around and you wear the fence behind you and you're having to circle and you're having to do this and you're moving back, but then you're trying to stop and land a shot and then going back to on your back, it's so taxing on your leg muscles.
Right.
It's taxing on your cardiovascular system. But the stress levels that are way higher as well.
Which will make you more tired.
It's going to make you more tired all round. So at some point, and you know this, I was trying to explain this the other day, there's the unspoken dance, isn't there? Right? This is, let's say this is the combat zone. If this guy here, hold on, I haven't got much room. If this guy here is walking here, the other guy is going to back off the whole time. I'll just do it from here. They're going to back off. If one stops, this guy stops. And they do this because otherwise you clinch. So if Paulo just had the balls, and pardon the expression, the metal, to say, no, but I'm going to stand here. Sean would have stopped advancing. Yeah. Because he's not looking at and taken down. You know, and that's like the unwritten code. And Sean was just psychologically stronger than Paulo in the fight, and therefore was able to just walk him around the octagon for 5 rounds.
Any time I've been in there with Sean, I'm not even going to sit here and tell you guys that I won all those rounds. But the only time, it took me 35, 45 seconds to realize if I just, because it does get uncomfortable, like, because he is coming forward constantly. So you try to back up, circle, reset, and then you think you're going to be able to go where you're not because he's going to keep closing that distance. Like it, I feel for Paulo because I felt it before. Not a whole lot, but I felt it before. Sean's, it's uncomfortable. But it took me 45 seconds to say, all right, this. I'm not running from you this whole time just to be comfortable. It's not a fear thing. It's uncomfortable. And it makes you want to be comfortable when you're in there. With that back and forth, like I come forward, you back up, then you come forward and I back up, but we don't like, it's not one constant person following the other one. At some point, you got to stick your back foot dig it in the dirt and say, I'm not backing up anymore. It's
Paulo's fault. He allowed Sean to dictate the pace, dictate the fight, dictate the geography of the octagon, to just own pretty much all of it. Yeah, sure, Paulo landed some shots. Yeah, Paulo went to the body a couple of times and he threw a few good leg
some nasty body shots too.
Yeah, but the visual, right? Yeah. Anybody that knows anything about fighting, and anyone that knows nothing about fighting, that's a better way of saying it. Anyone, you could get any Tom, Dick, and Harry off the street. That persistent prick knocking on the door. I could say, yo, come here. Watch this fight and tell me who wins. They would say Sean Strickland all day long. Yeah. I could grab a little old granny off the street who knows nothing about anything. I could say, who won this fight? And they would say, the guy walking him down the whole time. So why the did one of the judges give it 49-46 to Paulo Costa? Because that is disgraceful.
It is. And one judge had a 50-45 Strickland. How do they have two completely views of what happened?
I don't have much of an issue with that segment because you could argue like Dustin and Islam had some rounds that were close. You know what I'm saying? So but just to say that Paulo won, what was it? Was it 49-46? 4 out of 5.
So one guy thought Sean won every single round and the other guy thought Costa won 4 out of 5.
Yeah, but rounds can be close. Crazy. Rounds can be close and you can be kind of split. That's not the issue. The issue is that he went the wrong side.
Yeah, for sure.
If that little old granny said the person backing up, the sexy, handsome Paulo Costa, Par Genius, secret juice guy, if she said that, I'd say, yeah. Just edit that bit out, Brian. Let's get someone else. Do you know what I mean? She doesn't know what she's talking about. you know?
Brian, fix it.
The only person that I could grab, it'd be my luck as well. Let's just do an experiment. Come here. And they're like, no, Paulo won that. No, it's crazy. And this is people's livelihoods, their careers. Harrington, I know you put it in the notes, but I haven't seen it. What was Dana had some pretty strong words about it, right?
Yeah, let me grab the quote right here. He said it wasn't weird, it was effing nuts, insane. The guy should never ref a big fight again. They should kick him back down to the minor leagues and let him work on his judging. It's unbelievable. I mean, how could anybody who isn't an absolute effing lunatic call that fight a split decision? I don't even know what to say about that. It's insane. That guy shouldn't be judging big fights.
Yep. And I agree, because judges like that can cost people world championships. Judges like that, depending on your contract, could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, like,
well, if you want to get deeper in that, say that Sean gets a title fight next and wins and ends up winning the title back. Just say that that's the next progression. But then there's two of those judges and he loses that fight. Could have cost him millions.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy that we still have this with the judges all the time.
I know.
It's insane.
For fights that aren't that close fights, you got to kind of just accept that there's going to be different views on different situations and circumstances that happens in fights.
Scrambly fights, lots of takedowns, reversals, stuff like that. People can have a varied opinion.
That's hard. But like clear fights, you can't f that one up. That's one you can't f up. You can't get that one wrong. There's just no reason for it. It's unacceptable.
Well, anyway, fair play to Sean Strickland. Well done. Back to winning ways. Said he's waiting out for a title fight. Obviously, we're still waiting for it to be announced. Drickus versus Izzy.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's going to be announced pretty soon. But yeah, I don't blame him. You know what I mean? He's got the popularity. He's got people behind him. He just fought number 7. You know, he's got back to winning ways. It all depends, though. We'll see what happens in Saudi Arabia, which I will be going to straight from here when I leave Atlanta.
What are you doing in Atlanta?
Movie stuff.
Okay.
You know,
you're doing some filming.
It's a little shooting.
Oh, just a little bit.
It is, Johnny, a little bit. You blink and you miss me. I'll tell you off air, actually. It's kind of interesting, but I can't say anything. My lips are sealed. But speaking of Atlanta, when I checked in the hotel, see this big bottle of water?
Yeah.
They said, take that bottle of water to your room. Under no circumstances, drink the water. When you shower, make sure your mouth is shut. Do not brush your teeth with the water from the sink, because all the pipes have burst in the streets, and it's all the water's contaminated and it's very toxic and people are getting sick and stuff like that. And I went for a walk last night, and no shit, sure enough, I came to a massive river, water spurting out everywhere. I had to walk through about this deep of water. My feet were soaked, very wet. So yeah, but it's a nice bottle of water though.
No drinking the water in Atlanta. No kidding.
At the moment.
Right. Yeah, once it's fixed, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. At the news, on the news, it's saying that everyone has to boil their water at home or drink bottled water.
To even cook with and stuff.
To even cook with and stuff like that. You got to boil the water first. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, that's too bad.
Well, I wonder how many people are just going to not do that.
Oh, most of them.
A lot of people. It's going to go,
yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Kids.
Definitely kids.
For sure.
That
sucks. It's okay. So I kind of like it. I'm getting lots of free water. I think they've cut me off because every time I go past the lobby, because they've just got hundreds of these piled up, right? And I drink a lot of water. My wife says I'm obsessed. Every time I go past the lobby, I'm like, yeah, can I get another water for my room? I've got about 4 of these lined up.
That guy's cut off.
They've cut me off. When I went to get one before, they were like, no, we'll get room service. We'll send it up to your room. I'm like, well, I'm here now.
I'm standing right here.
Yeah, they're like, no, we'll send it up by a room service. They're like, this prick's selling them out the back. He's got a racket going. Talk to me about Kevin Holland versus Oleksiejczuk.
Yeah, that was weird. I thought that was going to be a pretty good fight. Both those guys are really, really good strikers. Kind of opposite striking styles. And Oleksiejczuk landed a big shot early, and Kevin Holland goes down. I was kind of a little bit nervous for Kevin, like, oh shit, like here, he's
Kev
doing a Kev, and then I don't know. he's got such good jiu-jitsu and such good grappling, and people just don't. I think people forget because you don't see it too often. But we've seen it in like the Michael Chiesa fight. We've seen it a little bit with the Jacare fight. Just being comfortable with Jacare being on top of you like that. He wasn't too worried, and locks up a nasty armbar. I thought he was going to go triangle, but he went armbar. And Oleksiejczuk, I'd look like maybe he thought he was out for a second because I thought he was out too. And Kevin just sunk that thing back up. And credit to Oleksiejczuk, man, he never tapped. Kevin just cranking and cracking and popping, and it's gross.
So let's talk about this. And this is the good part. This is the point I wanted to get to. I have no problem with the stoppage. Congratulations.
I don't like it.
Well, but me neither. I don't like it. I'm not calling for, a bloody to be overturned through the commission. I'm not talking about anything like that. Well done to Kevin Holland. The referee stepped in. Herb Dean's a good ref. He had the best view. He was there. He was a few feet away. He could see it very closely. However, I don't think the fight should have been stopped there. I was saying this, like, arm bars hurt, okay? And they can do a lot of damage. Mixed martial arts in general hurts.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Getting kneed in the face and being splattered, that hurts. Getting kicked in the head, right hooked, kneed in the body, it all hurts. And you know what? If you can't take it, you curl up in a ball and you let the referee stop it. When you get caught in an armbar, if you can't take it, you got to tap. If you can take it, if you can endure it, you don't tap. Now, granted, fighter safety is paramount, and sometimes we have to be protected from ourselves. But I was watching that, and it seemed like, because people don't know this, because I was getting a lot of shit online and saying, well, it didn't, it looked like he was trying to escape. You know the one, Anthony, where you turn your arm and try and step off. I can't do it here on camera.
Where you're like, it's hard to see, but with it being straight, if you can bend it a little bit and
it looks like it's bending the wrong way.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It's an escape. And then you roll over your own head. And you roll over your own head.
You roll over your own head. Technical term. I don't know what it's called. The head roll over.
Yeah, there's roll over your own head. This is you got to roll backwards and away from your own arm.
He was trying to do it. That. He was trying to tough it out. He was trying to grab the arm. He was fighting. And then
fighter safety, it's an arm. If he wants it to break, let him break it.
No one's going to die.
He knows the rules. He knows how to get out of it. If he wants it to stop, he knows what to do.
Yes.
And he didn't want it to stop.
Did you see how Warney was like, why wasn't this fight stopped 5 seconds earlier?
Why?
Why?
How many times have we watched someone kneed in the face and their goddamn nose split across their face? And it's you've seen Jack Della Maddalena?
And then they smile.
Yeah. And they keep fighting. Why is that a problem? How many times have we seen guys catching kicks, like they get a head kick and their arms break and they continue to fight while everybody in that whole place knows that they have a broken arm, but he wants to fight still? Let him fight. It's a broken arm. Who cares? Like, continue to fight. Let the man do his thing. If he thinks didn't Rich Franklin get his arm broken one time?
Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, got his arm broken off a kick and then ends up winning the fight. Why can't Oleksiejczuk have that opportunity? There was someone else who got their arm broken.
Tony Ferguson versus Charles Oliveira.
Right.
Ferguson was in that armbar forever and he didn't tap.
Mm-hmm.
And he still lost the fight. Whatever.
That's
bad example.
I feel like there's someone
Hardy was in an armbar forever, didn't tap, still lost the fight. I'm looking for one where he didn't tap and came back.
That's what I'm getting at. There's someone that got caught in an armbar, got their arm broken, and because it was broken, they were able to escape the armbar and ended up winning.
Jamal Hill, Paul Craig. I still lost the fight.
No. I wish I could remember who.
Bad
see, like
examples.
the Jamal one, I was okay with because he was stuck also in a triangle. So and
just to elaborate on that, the arm was broken, was like clearly flopping about.
I wish I could remember who broke their arm. Like got it broken in an armbar because it was broken and a little bit floppy, was able to slide it out and ended up winning.
If only we had a couple of people behind the scenes, not talking on camera, just looking at
maybe if I said it one more time. If I could only remember the guy that got his arm broken.
In the background right now, Brian's disappeared down some conspiracy corner. Harrington is...
Does nobody work here? Harrington, did you find it?
Hey. Brian, let's talk about this real quick because this was interesting. We were talking about this off before we started.
Yeah.
Because I think you get Harrington on here. Let's have a 4-shot. Let's get the lads on.
Sorry, I'm frantically Googling. I found a couple guys who won with broken arms, but not from an arm bar.
Passed. The moment's passed, Harrington.
All right.
Missed it.
Sorry.
Hey, you like my daughter's bedroom?
Joe Rogan better be paying Jamie well, because I'm coming for him. Brian, before we started, we were talking about, things to talk about on the show. And you had some wild, not conspiracy, but thoughts that are circulating regarding the recent artwork done of Britain's King Charles.
So, this has been floating around the internet since the portrait got unveiled, and I never thought it was appropriate to bring it up, but this seems like a good time.
That's my king, bro.
I do know that's your king. Apparently his king is Satan, though. So if you look at this, if you mirror the portrait and flip it upside down.
Show us the first way. Show us how it's supposed to look.
Okay. So this is what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So then if you mirror this and you flip it upside down, this is the image you get. And
Whoa.
there's clearly a weird thing going on here. Like you can
That's
see
a devil.
Shoulders and like
A big fiery head.
a big like bull demon head with horns and all sorts of weird shit. I'm just saying. It's
So what are you saying? Just state what you're saying.
I'm saying that the internet thinks that this is some sort of do it in code so you don't get caught kind of Satanist kind of thing going on, and the deepest, darkest corners of the internet have this theory that the reason why we haven't seen Kate Middleton is because she was used to paint this painting.
The blood. Just give me the shot, because what you'd done there was mirror the shot. Then you turned it upside down.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? These are great lengths to go to. Now,
That looks like Kate Middleton's blood.
it does.
It looks like
Hold on.
it's weird looking.
That's probably her skin too.
It might be.
Yeah, it's a bit creepy. It is. You can tell. No, look, listen. You can tell. That's Kate Middleton's all day long. If it was Harrington's, it'd be greener. Do you think, just for the sake of conversation, that King Charles is so heavily embroiled in the act of devil worshipping that the heavily scrutinized new portrait that's going to be unveiled to the world, they just have to have an image of the devil on there? They have to.
Yep. Symbolism will be their downfall. That's a real thing.
I don't know. I don't off the top of my head think that.
So,
but I bet there are a lot of people that met Ted Bundy that were like, that guy doesn't seem like someone who kills people.
Now, this is going a little deep into the subject here, but there is a philosophy in this weird, evil Satanist kind of lifestyle that is, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like if you tell the people what you're doing, then you don't get like penalized for it in the afterlife because they do it on their own volition. And that's why you see all sorts of weird symbolism everywhere, is because we have weird Satanists that run the world.
Well, I don't know about the weird Satanists that run the world, and come after me in the comments section, people, right? I think when you look at that, that's kind of an abstract piece of art. If you're trying to look at it a certain way, and then you flip it this way and you double it up and you get a kaleidoscope and you look at it on a Tuesday when the sun is down at 5:45 p.m., you can see Beelzebub appearing right there. I'm just saying that if you think that, then maybe just you've got too much time on your hands.
Well, we could do it live.
Let's do it live.
We could see if it works.
Let's do it live.
All right.
Do what live?
Yeah, do what live?
What are we doing live?
I could take the image and flip it in front of you and see if it lines up or if it's being made up on the internet.
Oh, no, I think it definitely lines up like that. I just want to know who figured it out. Like, whoa.
This got pulled.
This painting looks kind of cool. What if we mirrored it and then flipped it upside down? What's it look like?
It was like 10
That's when
minutes.
you got too much time on your hands.
It took 10 minutes for people to start putting this online. It was 10 minutes after they pulled it.
I always wonder, I think about that kind of stuff. Like the person that figured shit out for the first time, like the first person that found weed. When they're just walking around, they're like picking fruits and vegetables and like, well, that one looks kind of funny. What do you think would happen if we smoked it?
Yeah. I saw a meme the other day saying Neanderthal man or early man discovering mushrooms. It's like, well, this is crazy. This one makes you laugh your ass off for hours. This one might kill you. This one helps with all kinds of stuff, and this one tastes really good, but let's just keep trying them.
Yeah. Oh, I got another one of those wall melting ones. Son of a bitch.
And we know it's been done. This has been said many times, but the first guy that discovered milking a cow gives you milk. What did he think was going on? That's
what was he expecting?
It's called science.
It is.
Yeah, but there has to be a first person that figures that out.
Yeah, well, do you know what? No, to be fair, the milk would just be dripping out of the teat.
That's fair.
The udder, it would be very swollen and be dripping out.
Yeah.
They'd be like, maybe we'll just assist this a little bit.
I don't have any milk cows. That makes sense.
How many cows do you got?
There's like 11 out there. Yeah. Not a lot.
That's good. How much do you pay for a cow?
Depends on when you get it. Right now, the very first cow I ever bought was $250.
Wow.
But it was a calf. It was very young. It was still being bottle fed. And I ate that sumbitch.
Killed it yourself?
No, I took it in to get processed. It's a lot quicker and cleaner.
Yeah, of course. I can only imagine. I mean, I've seen it.
But if you want to get I think we got the 2 heifers and we paid, I want to say $900 a piece for them.
So $250 for the first one, $900 a piece for the other heifers. What is the processing charge to take it in, to have it slaughtered and butchered? How much do they charge for that? Because that's a lot of work.
It all kind of it differs and varies. So it depends on where you go. We have a pretty good deal set up with actually the same people that have been processing my deer and stuff that I shoot. So we do this deal where it's $1 a pound. So if the cow weighs 1,000 pounds, then they charge me $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when I sell, every once in a while I'll sell them, because the whole process started because me and a friend wanted to just raise our own cattle and just have grass-fed, super healthy beef that we knew had no other additives and bullshit to it.
Yeah.
And they just taste better. And you can't, the way that we do it, you can't produce them fast enough to make any money, because being grass-fed only, they don't grow nearly as fast. So that's why these factory farming, they have to add all this shit and all these additives and all this other stuff to supplement to make them grow faster so they can continue to turn a profit. We're not trying to turn a profit. I sell enough to break even about. And a lot of times I don't even break even, which doesn't matter. But so as we build them up, then so we bought the first couple calves, bottle fed them, and then raised those ones to just eat those 2. Well, they were like, well, once we kill these ones and eat them, now we're going to be down. We're going to have to wait until we raise 2 more calves. So then we got the 2 heifers, and then we started breeding them. And so then they started having calves, and then we got 2 more heifers. And then so we were getting 4 calves at a time. So it's actually growing a little bit faster than we needed to, because we're not eating the beef fast enough to bring the herd down. So now we're having to sell some every once in a while. So then whatever whoever buys the cow, they pay the processing fee, and then we charge them per pound.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I really would, but obviously,
if you were to buy beef,
I wanted to ask you: is the bull yours, or do you bring a bull in?
So sometimes we buy bull semen.
Yeah,
it's just easier to do it that way. But there's actually a property that's right next to.
What did the first guy that implanted bull semen think he was doing?
Yeah, right. Sometimes we'll buy it, and then the property over next to us has a bull, and sometimes we'll just flip that guy a couple bucks and put our heifers in there, and they do their thing.
Nice. No, that's really cool, Anthony. And as you say, fresh,
it's fun. Yeah, it's
natural.
Fun.
No, it is. Good. It's a good pastime. You know, that's Rebecca's dream. I've spoke about it many, many times. That's what we're trying to do. All right. This episode is sponsored by Fitbod, which is the workout app that goes right on your phone that is going to make working out a breeze. If you have hit a plateau, if you're not making any gains, if you don't know what to do in the gym, if you're just bored, if you're on the road all the time and you can't get to a gym, Fitbod is the workout app that you need, okay? You just download it to your phone and away you go. It will create a personalized workout routine based on your goals, your fitness levels, and the available equipment. That's a big one. Maybe it's just the park. Maybe you got some dumbbells in the garage or you've got a whole gym. It will give you a complete personalized workout routine based on the available equipment. It adapts as you improve, so each workout will continue to be challenging and it will push you to the next limit to make those gains, to lose the weight, to build the muscle. Whatever your goal is, you can cater and personalize it to that. You want to beef up, you want to get ripped, want to lose weight, you just tinker with it and you input it there. Fitbod also tracks the recovery so you can avoid overtraining, and it is fine-tuned by experienced certified personal trainers to bring the best practices and the exercise science to you. Also, you get to learn the exercises the right way because there's over 1,000 high-definition demonstration videos. So realistically, what more are you waiting for? Okay, it's a tremendous app, over 1,000 videos. It's like having your very own personal trainer right there in your app, except you can try this out for free. Okay, you can get 25% off your subscription, or you can try the app out for free when you go to fitbod.me/believe. Bored of your workouts? Go to fitbod.me/believe. Can't afford a personal trainer? Go to fitbod.me/believe. Just want a load new workout ideas? Want to lose some weight, bulk up, whatever the goals may be? Go to fitbod.me/believe for 25% off, or to try the app out for free. All right, so what have we got to talk about here? We did the 3 big fights on 302. We talked about McGregor. Oh, we never spoke about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it feels like old news now. Are we interested? Should we just shit on Jake Paul for a minute?
As much as I want to, I don't know what else there is. I mean, is the fight going to get rescheduled, do you think? I hope not.
Well, do you see that Logan Paul is now calling to be the replacement?
Was that for real? That was serious.
I don't know, but it's just, if it is, it's like, dude, for crying out loud. I mean, both of them have got money. They're both famous. He's in the WWE. Right. He claims that he had the Tyson fight first, and he claims he had some other fight. It's like,
leave some for the rest of us.
You came from the same womb. That is your brother. There's a lot of people you can fight.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Totally agree.
People would watch it. Mm-hmm. But that's your brother, for crying out loud. That's the guy.
And a part of me would really like it to watch those two guys do something real detrimental to themselves in the long term. Because there's no like real coming back from that. They actually fought. One's got to win. One's going to lose. Like, their hearts are going to be broken. They're going to dislike each other. It's going to be a weird, disjointed relationship for a while. And that part makes me happy.
Yeah. I mean, brothers do fight all the time. You got brothers? You don't have a brother?
I have an older brother. Yeah.
An older brother.
Yeah. He's old as shit, though. So we never got a chance to fight because he was an adult before I was born.
No, my brothers used to beat the shit out of me. Conrad and Stephen. Bad. We're not talking like little brother, we're talking like you'd beat up your sworn enemy. They used to beat the shit out of me.
No, my brother was like holding me as a baby and his own son.
Yeah.
That's how far apart we are.
Way older.
Yeah, he's way older. Yeah, one of my nephews is older than I am.
The problem is for Mike Tyson, God bless him, we know he's 58. When you get older, things just go wrong. You've got arthritis. You've got high blood pressure. Getting through a fight camp, I don't know about ulcer flare-ups. I know nothing about ulcers or ulcer flare-ups. Know nothing about them. Can't pretend to. But this might be a blessing in disguise, I
don't know any young people with ulcers.
No, it's not something that I've ever had a discussion about. My mom suffers with an ulcer.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm sure young people do get them, but I've never like spoken to someone and been like, "Oh yeah, I'm in my 30s."
John,
got an ulcer.
Old John's got his ulcer flare up again.
Yeah, we were gonna go golf and hit the bar with the boys, but
he can't even make it on a 2-hour flight. Fucking John and his ulcer. Go on, go home. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's usually older folks.
All right, let's have a look at these notes, Harrington. We don't want to keep you too much longer, but we're going to talk a bit. Harrington, what is there on the notes? Because I've looked at my emails and a lot of emails have come through since the last time I looked at them. Here we go. Notes. What do we have? Islam. We talked about that. Jan KO'd Wilder. We did see that, unfortunately, for Deontay Wilder. Joaquin Buckley talking about George St-Pierre and knocking him out. Is that really conversation worthy?
No. Wait, who was Buckley talking about?
George St-Pierre. That if he fought George St-Pierre now, he'd beat him.
I feel like because of my instincts to always protect people in that generation and the greats that came before me, I will end up talking shit about Buckley, and then we'll start some shit. And I won't mean to, because I don't have anything real negative to say about Buckley, but by defending the greats that came before me, it will sound like I'm being a dick to Buckley.
Well, Cub Swanson and him got into a thing on Twitter. Did you see that?
I did. And like Cub is
that's
another
what you're
guy.
talking about?
I would stick up for, I would stick up for Cub, and I would stick up for GSP, and like, there's got to see, here I go. I'm going already. You have to, like, what happened to the days? And this is, again, if Buckley sees this, I'm not talking shit about you personally, I'm talking shit about your generation of fighters. What happened to the days when I was in the gym and I was the young guy, and the people that carved the path out that I was trying to follow, and the people that were doing the thing currently that I was trying to do? Like, what happened to having respect for them? Like, Rampage is a guy that I would, like what GSP is to Buckley, where, he's the guy that's in the same weight class, and that's, that would be the person you'd want to look up to or whatever. Rampage was that guy for me. I couldn't even fathom telling you right now that if me and Rampage fought right now and he was in his prime, I'd beat his ass or I'd knock it. Like, I can't, even if I thought that, I can't even imagine saying that out loud, because I would feel like that's too disrespectful to someone that came before me that I wanted to be like, and that I wanted to accomplish the same things as them at one point in time. I just feel like, and I sound super old right now saying, oh, these young guys there just don't have any respect, but it's the truth. Like, the game has changed, and I understand that. And the way that guys come up is different than it did when I came up and when the people before me came up. But I just don't see the same level of respect in gyms that I used to see. I don't see the same level of respect for the ones that came before us and carved a path and gave us a platform to stand on once they were done with it. And you see it on the other end too. Like, I like to think that I give a lot of opportunities any chance that I get, whether that's giving opportunities to guys in fights, or whether that's giving advice, or whether that's giving helpful tips and ways that people can carve a path in their own career, or what not to do, or what to do, how to deal with this person in the company, how not to deal with this person. Like, those guys seem like they're going to climb the ladder and then pull it up so no one else can.
Yeah, no, I do understand what you're saying. I don't think it's all fighters, and to a certain degree, I think Buckley is
not all, but
making some noise. But I do know what you're saying, and like, for me,
like, some things are off limits.
When I first signed with the UFC, I'd won the Ultimate Fighter. I'd had a couple of fights, so I was like, and this is back when the Ultimate Fighter was. If you won the Ultimate Fighter back in the day, it was a big deal.
Yeah, you're the man.
Seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That was a big deal back then. And I'm not saying I'm a big deal. I'm saying I could tell from the recognition of wherever I walked in Las Vegas and stuff like that. And I remember meeting Randy Couture for the first time. And there's a documentary, I think it's on Fight Pass. It's called Britain's Ultimate Fighter. And it follows my journey after the Ultimate Fighter and training for the finale and stuff like that, and then up to my first fight. And anyway, and I'm at the MGM Grand. It's before UFC 66, Tito versus Chuck, and I'm there and I'm backstage at the MGM and I'm doing something, and all of a sudden Randy Couture walks over and kind of grabs hold of me and like kind of wrestles type thing, and I am like a child. Like, just like, do you know what I mean? And you can see it, and the respect. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, Randy Couture's talking to me as an equal. He's giving me the time of day. He's shaking my hand. And then the guy filming asked him a couple of questions about me, and the fact that he even knew who I was and said nice things about my fight style and all the rest of it. And then he walked off, and there's a little clip, and I go, oh, yeah. Randy Couture, we're all mates. We're all mates, But that blew my mind, and it is. And I think a lot of fighters do revere old folks like us, if you will. But I think also to a certain degree, Buckley's just making noise for the sake of making noise.
I think that's the part that bothers me the most. Like, make noise, promote yourself. You do a great job at it. But like, why is GSP got to catch a stray when he's not in a position to defend himself? Because he won't, because that's the type of person GSP is. He's not going to reply. He's not going to respond. He's just going to hanging out. Like, he doesn't give a shit, but he can't fight. Like, he's not in a position to fight and defend himself.
And by the way, that's why I hate it.
Leave the man alone.
Sometimes when I do interviews and they say, okay, what about you? If you were still fighting now, what about Izzy or the champion? I always say, I'm not answering that because it's disrespectful, because I don't have to back up these words. But just going back to George St-Pierre for a second. I saw a little Instagram clip or something the other day, and he was asked in an interview if ever, when talking about an opponent, does shit talk ever go too far? Does it ever cross the line? And his answer really surprised me, because this is George St-Pierre, who's carried himself with so much class. And he says, no. He said, you can never go over the line. And it's interesting because, with Ian Gary and Colby Covington and all that type of stuff, and we've always said, that stuff's over the line. You leave family and stuff out of it, Right. But what George said made a lot of sense. He said, this is psychological warfare. You're going to fight this guy. And to a certain degree, you're almost fighting to the death. You know what I mean? You're fighting to put that other man asleep, unconscious, or choke them out in front of the world. So whatever you've got to say that might give you a mental edge in that fight, before the fight, it's fair game. And I thought, you know what? He's absolutely right. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, I just can't get down with some of it. Like I can't.
Are you intoxicated? Man, you're crazy.
I just can't get like the family, the kids, the people that aren't involved in the fight. I can't handle that. I don't like that part. I just don't.
I agree. And I've always said the same.
Also, nobody knows shit about George. They can't say anything about him. They don't know who his wife, girlfriend, kids, like.
Well, in that same thing.
He's such an anomaly. Like, you don't know anything about him.
But in that same thing, he went on. He actually spoke about that. He said, that is why my private life is private. Yeah, I don't talk about anything because I don't want to give my opponents any ammunition. I don't want them throwing up personal stuff that will trigger me in a fight. So I keep my private life completely off limits. Nobody knows anything about it. And I thought, you sneaky, clever, genius bastard.
Genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really know anything about George's personal life.
I know a little bit because of, behind the scenes and getting to know him a bit over
I've heard like some stories of nothing bad, nothing negative, just about people that train with him and just said, oh, this is what George likes to do for fun. But like anything about his like personal life, his family or anything like that, like I don't know anything about him.
Yeah. No, George is the man, plain and simple. Shout out, George. Hope you are well, brother. All right, we've been going for a little bit there. Should we do some questions to wrap up?
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you have a question, and we haven't done questions for a little bit, it feels like. If you have a question, please send it into bympod@gmail.com. The more creative the question, the better. Ask us about our private lives, ask us about fighting, ask us about whatever the bloody hell you want. Don't just ask us, the type of shitty, boring questions that we get. Harrington.
If you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you find podcasts, make sure to subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating, positive review. It really helps out on those platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and you hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new episode drops. And if you want to catch up for 500 episodes you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and totally uncensored, head to gasdigital.com. Use the promo code BYM14. Get a 2-week free trial. Check over 20 great shows on the network.
Today's first question. He didn't leave his name, but he sounds like Paddy Pimblett.
Hello lads, just a quick question I thought about watching the UFC yesterday. I noticed they all had the gold shiny gloves on and I thought, would that play as an advantage? Having bright shiny gloves on, would you see punches coming at you in your peripherals that you wouldn't see with the black gloves, especially with them being small 4-ounce? And if so, is it an idea to keep up having coloured ones? I thought it was aesthetically pleasing instead of just the plain black ones, but let me know what you think. And they've got the future Sean O'Malley right there. Loves the pod when his mum's not there and loves the UFC. So yeah, thanks guys, let me know what you think.
Nice one, mate. He does sound like Paddy Pimblett. He looks like Paddy Pimblett. Yeah. He's definitely a Scouser. So thank you, mate. You didn't leave your name, but thank you very much, lads. The gold gloves. I thought they looked cool. I thought it made it like an epic, you know, it was a title fight.
Yeah, it's special.
I felt, and I got to be careful. Shouldn't have Islam have only been the one with gold gloves on?
Yeah, I thought that too when I seen him. Like, I thought only the champion was going to have the gold gloves. But I suppose if it's like you're in a title fight, you're fighting for gold, you get the gold gloves.
Yep. No, you're right.
That's how I thought. That's how I justified it. After
no, you're right. Because at the end of this fight, regardless, because once the fight starts, the title's up for grabs. You're both eligible.
That's fair. Like no one's the champion once the bell rings, the first bell.
I wish they were doing that when I was fighting because I'd have a few pairs of gold gloves, which would separate all the other moldy black gloves that I have somewhere in the house. You know what I mean?
Do you keep them all?
I've got all kinds of shit lying around. I don't know where they are. I don't know. And there's old wraps somewhere. There's old mouthpieces. I've got tons of Ultimate Fighter stuff. I've got all the posters. I've still got some of the Reebok bags.
Yeah.
In a cupboard with like moldy shorts and the cup and the gloves at the bottom. Like the other day I was looking for a backpack to give to Callum when he was getting on a flight. And I opened up and there's like a bunch of Reebok backpacks. And Rebecca was like, give him one of them. I'm like, fuck that. No, he's not having one of them ones. And I looked in them. I'm like, Jesus Christ, look at all this shit. Do you keep all yours?
I usually keep the shorts. Every once in a while, like if there's a charity event or something along those lines and they want, like, if it's important, you know, like something that's special, I'll sign the shorts and give the shorts. So I always keep the shorts. Most of the time I keep the gloves, but I usually gift the gloves. Like I'll always keep them after the fight, but then I'll usually give them as a gift to somebody for something. I always keep the posters. I got a lot of I still have gloves from Strikeforce. I have gloves from Bellator when I fought in Bellator. I got, you know, kind of like just shit from each place that I've been.
On the glove thing, I mean, I've sent off so many signed gloves, you know, and Pete, like someone recently sent me a text for a charity thing. We need a couple of signed pairs of gloves. I'm like, yeah, sure. I think people think that I have a glove factory at my house.
Yeah, I know.
Where do you think these gloves are coming from? I have to go to Amazon. I have to order the gloves. I have to pay for the gloves, then sign them, then ship them. People say, could you send a few gloves for charity? Yeah. Okay. Want to send them to me first?
Yeah, why don't you send me the gloves? I'll sign them and then I'll send them back.
Going broke donating to charity. Thank you for the question, Scouse friend. What else we got, Bri?
We got a question here from Corey from Boston.
Hey, BYM, Corey from Boston, big fan. After this weekend's UFC events, I just got to know, what the hell is it that Sean Strickland does that makes him so impossible to figure out for fighters? Especially the Adesanya fight. I gave him zero chance of winning that, considering because he's one of the best counter strikers in the UFC, and just absolutely dominated him. So what is it about that basic style that's confusing these fighters? Thanks, guys. Fuck you, Harrington.
Yeah, look, listen, I've sparred God knows how many rounds with Strickland for many years. He's good. He's awkward. It's a kind of an awkward style. The rhythm of striking that he has, he's got good reflexes. He's quick. You know, he's big. He's good. He's a big size for the weight class, and he's got good, solid fundamentals and basics and footwork and understanding, and he's quick. He's got good reflexes. He's got good eyes. You know, he's one of those guys that when you look at him from the outside, and people used to say this about me as well. So, oh God, this guy ain't going to be good. But then when you get in there with them, they're better than what you thought they would be, and they're better than what you might have given them credit for. But he's a well-rounded dude, so therefore he has the confidence to walk Costa down. But he's just skilled at the basics. You know, he's just a good fighter, but psychologically very, very strong, as we said.
Yeah, I agree. I think his reaction time, his reflexes, his vision, he sees everything. He reacts to it quickly, and he's got really good instincts. He's the whole package on his feet. And like you said, he has the confidence to walk the way that he walks forward in a fight, because he doesn't really give a shit if you shoot a takedown. And because if he can't defend it, he's fairly safe.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And I was going to say this is the award for the most boring question, guys. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. from Boston. Do we have one more on the fun variety to wrap this one up and end it on a high? And thank you all for watching.
Look at the look on Brian's face. What do you have?
Well, this is not a question, but this is a video from Roland.
Oh, yes. Don't sound right.
This is Roland Wixer from Germany. Hello, sexy Mike. No homo. And that's all I have to say to you today. Because sexy Tony, no homo, you made me so angry that I punched 15 holes in my TV. Last month, you walked out and all I could think was, no man alive should walk out to any song not named Return of the Mac.
Roland Biggs. Just bring it back up. I want to see what is that in the background. He has a picture of someone. It looks like...
Where is he?
Yeah, I know. And this must have been sent at Christmas or something because it looks like he's got a weird Christmas decoration style. Just go through it. It looks like... Look, go back and
what is? Yeah, what is this?
Look at that. It looks like somebody from Lord of the Rings.
No, you know what it is? It's the judge from that Chevy Chase movie. Is it
looks
Hero
like
Evil?
the butler from Scary Movie.
It looks like...
Hi, Germs.
Have you seen
I'll pull it up.
Ghostbusters 2? Do you know the painting?
Yeah, why does he have Christmas decorations up right now?
Because it's Brian's...
No, this is today. This came in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's talking about my fight. I didn't use Return of the Mac.
Well, he's one of those guys. I have a neighbor, and every time
That's Warwick Davis.
Every time, Warwick Davis. Yeah, there we go. Life's too short. Every time we drive onto our estate, we always play a little game. And Lucas the other day was like, oh, the door's open. He still has his Christmas decorations up. And he leaves them up. And we think he leaves them up all year round to save
time
putting them up again.
Yeah. What if it's Roland? What if Roland lives in your neighborhood?
Then I'm going around to say hello.
That'd be so
all right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll be back on Thursday. You guys take care. All the best.